20K subs. Time flies, man. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for all the amazing support. Before we hop into Trials of Osiris, ladies and gentlemen, help a bunch of people go flawless and have a phenomenal time while doing it. By the way, I stream here on YouTube every day from Friday to Tuesday. We help a lot of people go flawless, get that beautiful loot. I am absolutely blessed, and I mean blessed, with the most beautiful community out there. So I would love to see every single one of you guys on stream. And trust me, once you take a look at this community, you're here to stay. Now let's talk about this topic that I really want to discuss with you guys. And I've been getting a lot of questions about this. A lot of people are asking, Pip, I don't have 8 to 10 to 15 hours a day to play this game, so I'm not like a top tier god tier player. I'm around, let's say, around 0.8 to 1.2 KD. Is it possible for me, and is it even worth for me to try and go flawless with a team, maybe queue up as a duo or go in solo? Is it worth it? And if so, what are the little tips that you can give us in order to, make all of this possible? When you have these flawless pools now, it makes it much easier. So for any kind of player, it is absolutely possible to go flawless as long as you keep these things that I'm going to tell you in mind. The biggest mistake I see people make is the mindset. The mindset is a huge factor in all of this. And you might be asking, but Pip, what do you mean when you say mindset? Well, it's easy, guys. Sometimes, I would say most of the times, a lot of people, a lot of players, every time they die to a weapon like Jotun or die to, whatever it is in the game, it doesn't matter, something that they don't like, they instantly start blaming the other person, the weapon, the circumstances. The sun wasn't lighting the way it was supposed to be lighting. The clouds weren't in the perfect position. Guys, you can't do that. You can't. If you get killed by Jotun in round 1 and then in round 2 and then in round 3 and it keeps happening, it's not the guy with the Jotun, it's you. And you have to have that mindset. I like to call this the mindset of the champion, where you're able to identify your mistakes, the little things that you can fix, and then fix them in order for them to not happen again. So when it happens the first round, instead of wasting your energy on things that are out of your control and blaming this and that, why don't you focus on saying, okay, I know my mistake, I'm gonna do better. If your teammate's doing the same, you tell him that, and you just keep this healthy relationship between the 3 players, and you'll be good to go. But if you're not doing that, and if your mindset is, holy shit, everything is because of the environment and this and the weapon, and it has nothing to do with me playing wrong, I don't think you're going anywhere. That's not going to work, not in gaming, but in general in life too. You got to be able to identify the mistakes and then start fixing them. Obviously, if you want to advance in anything, not just in video games. And it stays true for Destiny 2 in this case. And a lot of people get caught up in their ego, and they really can't identify their own mistake, and that costs them the game. So the mindset is very, very important. You got to understand that. You got to keep that healthy energy in the team at all times. If you are playing with a team, and if you're solo, obviously try to hop into those voice chats and try to communicate, and we will get to communication here in a minute. But before we do, I want to talk about the next point that I feel like is very important, and that is team play and actually playing to your strengths. And what I mean by that is a lot of people get caught up in the meta talks. Now, that said, there will always be guns in the game that are better than other guns. This is just how it is in gaming in general. In any game, Call of Duty, Destiny, whatever it is, there are some guns that are better than others, and they are meta. If you want to use those weapons, if you're good with those weapons, good for you, use them. But that said, if you're jumping into trials and you're putting on those hand cannons and shotguns just because somebody said so, but at the same time, you're much better with, let's say, just for an example, with a Mida multi-tool and a sidearm, and you're much more effective because you have the range down, you have the recoil down, but you're still trying to use hand cannon and shotgun just because people say so, and then you hop into a trials game and you're rushing in with the shotgun, but you don't know how to control the distance. You don't understand distance management at all. You're getting killed over and over again, and then your team, is left in a 2v3 situation and so on. That really doesn't help. So when I say play to your strengths, what I mean is If you have a team of players that are good with pulse rifles and scouts and submachine guns, use those weapons until you get really good with hand cannons and shotguns and fusions or whatever it is that is meta at that point in time. Use the things that you are most comfortable and confident with in trials and play to your strengths. If you're good with scout rifles, and let's say it's javelin, right? Play it smart. If you have a sidearm, first start off with your scouts outside, see if you got somebody there, and then once you're pushing inside, then rush together with the sidearms or whatever it is. Is it gonna be hard to play against like top tier players that are very good with fusions and shotguns and hand cannons? Yes, it is. But those top tier players, if they're that good, they're still gonna find a way to win regardless of what they're using. And you guys see these on our streams too. Like sometimes we go on 20, 30 win streaks, and then we run into a team and they win. And that's okay. They might have been playing way more together. They might just have the strategy down for that specific map much better than your team does, and they win. And give credit where credit is due. If they win, they win. Just move on. Don't focus on the loss, and you'll do better. Trust me. You just try to learn from every experience that there is in trials, and as long as you do that, you will get better. Use what you feel comfortable with. Dominate with the weapons. And as said, when you're not playing trials, when you have free time, maybe play a little bit of elimination with the hand cannons and the shotguns, or maybe play sixes, rumble, whatever it is that will get you more familiar with the play style of those weapons. And then when you feel very confident with hand cannon and shotguns, then use those weapons in Trials of Osiris and you will have better results. So the point is, don't force meta weapons if you're not comfortable with them, okay? That is one thing that I want everyone to know. Use whatever you're good with. Now, let's move on to the next part, which is if you are going in with a team or a duo, try to create builds that support each other. Like Genesis does this really, really well. When we have Genesis on our team, he sometimes runs, Boots of the Assembler. He's very good with hand cannons. So he's extremely good with Lumina, right? He absolutely destroys people with Lumina, and he gives out those buffs very, very quickly. And those buffs, those are amazing, man. So have something like that in your team. Maybe focus your supers around some team play. Try to have some connection between the builds that will synergize really well. So if you guys hop into those streams, you'll see it a lot where we're losing, let's say 4-0 against really good top tier teams, top 0.4, 0.5% players, and we win those games. Like just a few weeks ago, we had like 3 or 4 games. Actually, no, it was like 2 or 3 games, I believe, where we were losing in a row, 4-0, 4-0, and we won every single one of them because our mindset was, okay, we're doing something wrong. We need to fix this. We identified the issue. Both we were making mistakes and they were doing something that we were able to capitalize on. We fixed those things and we won those rounds. Let's move on to the next one, which is communication. Communication is also very, very important. A lot of people don't really take it serious. I see a lot of teams that play and you barely hear anything. Make your callouts more consistent, more precise, and never lie to your teammates. And what I mean by this is I've played with a bunch of players who straight up lie about things, and that there is nothing more annoying than that. For example, they get into a fight and they die, and you hear them and you hear them say, "Oh, he's one shot, and then obviously when you hear one shot, okay, I need to kill that guy and then res my teammate. You rush in and he's full HP with an overshield and he's about to destroy you. Okay, so the false information given out to your teammates can be very, very painful and very hurtful for the team. A lot of people do that, right? Be real with yourself. If he outplays you, it's okay. Just don't give out false information so then your teammate doesn't go in to try to get the cleanup kill and instead he dies and now your teammate's left alone against 3 people. Another thing that I really don't like people doing, honestly, they start shouting, res me, get the res. You got to understand, when you're dead, there's a lot of things that you don't understand and don't see and don't realize how the game is developing in that specific moment. So instead of just shouting that, what I do is, my res is available, get it if you can and if you need it. That's all you got to say. Always keep it on the calm side when it comes to gameplay. Never panic. Trust me, this will make you a better team and a better player in general. The next thing I'm going to mention is also very, very, very important. Probably one of the most important things in the game. Radar control at all times. A lot of people do not do this. A lot of people just ADS for like 45 seconds, then they get flanked and they're like, holy shit, where did that come from? Well, if you had looked at the radar from time to time, even if you're sniping, it doesn't matter, you would see that flank coming, right? So make sure to control that radar at all times. Give out specific and very precise callouts thanks to the radar, and never underestimate it, especially if you have an aggressive player that is pushing up at all times. If somebody's going on a long flank and you have a teammate that is playing aggressive, he's not going to be able to see that far flank, and that's your job to call it out. What happens then is that player that is aggressive should return to you, and you should collapse on the player that is flanking and get the kill. Another thing that people don't do, and this doesn't matter if you're queuing up as a team, duo, solo, this is one thing that you have to do, but you got to do it smart, is getting a pick and then advancing the position. Now, that said, there are situations that you can't really advance the position. For example, they die in a weird corner where you can't really see the body that much. But in 90% of the situations, when you get a pick, you want to move up as a team. So you use that advantage of having an extra person, right? Because it's a 2v3. It's no longer a 3v3. And you got to make the most of that advantage right there. So once you do get a pick, don't let them just sit there and get that res safely. Try to make them uncomfortable. A lot of people, what they don't understand, guys, is it takes time to have a very good team. You're not just gonna hop into a game with random people that you pretty much didn't even know yesterday or a few hours ago, even maybe even a few minutes ago, and your synergy is not gonna be out of this world right away. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of hard work, good call outs, good vibes and positive energy in the team for the team to become better. If you have one toxic person, that's it right there. Everybody's mindset is going downhill. You got to lead the team with the right attitude, and that's what it's all about. Not bragging or anything, but you guys have seen us absolutely destroy teams that were like 3.2, 3.3 KDs, 0.2% in the world, and we beat those teams like 5-0, 5-1, and it's not because we're necessarily 1v1 better players, but we just play better as a team. I don't know what callouts they're making, but obviously our strategy and callouts are better because we win those games pretty much most of the time. And it really makes me happy to have a team that has such good chemistry. And as mentioned, it didn't really come that soon. We had to play for hours and hours and days and weeks together in order to understand each other's play styles. I did quite a few double carries one week, and what happened was every time I would get people in the stream, they would be like, hey Pip, I'm sorry, I'm horrible, this is not gonna be easy. And I would always be like, oh shit bro, don't say that, you're not horrible, we gotta play as a team, we gotta win as a team. And then we would actually play, and those people were pretty good, man. They weren't as bad as they said they were. They were actually good. They were doing call outs, they were positioning correctly, they were getting kills. It always surprised me. And then we had this talk. I would always tell them, hey man, don't down talk yourself like that, because realistically you're much better than you think you are right now. I'm playing with you, I'm telling you straight up, you're better than you think. And you could hear in their voice be like, oh shit, yeah, thanks man, that's awesome. And you could kind of feel the confidence dripping in little by little, and that's cool to see. So never down talk yourself, guys. Trust me, you can play way better than you think. And the mindset right there of you telling yourself you're not good enough, not just in gaming but in life, will do you no good. Have the right mindset, have the mindset of the winner, of a champion. Identify your problems, fix those problems. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is not failure if you take lessons from it and then build upon it and make your way to success. And that's what life is all about. And the same applies to Trials of Osiris right here.